Are you an introvert who is terrified of networking? Well, you're not alone. I'm an introvert as well, and not much more than a year ago, I had never done networking before. And frankly, I was terrified to do it, but I knew I needed to for my business. So I want to give you my introvert's guide to business networking in just a moment, so stay tuned. Hey, my name is Luke Seavers with OneOnOne Pro. I'm a brand designer and web marketing consultant. I basically help entrepreneurs to reflect success in their brand and grow their business online. If you want to learn more about our branding and web design services, be sure and check the link in the description below. But I want to talk to you about introverts. When we're talking about that term, what we're usually referring to is someone like myself who gets more energy and is recharged by being alone. And by contrast, we typically are very drained by being around large amounts of people for extended amounts of time. So just to give you a little bit of background, when I was in the process of moving here to Charleston, South Carolina, I wanted to go out and start networking for my business. And so I actually went with my brother to this large networking event. It had about 200 people there. And honestly, I had such a hard time going up to strangers and talking to them. I felt like I spent most of my time just kind of on the side of the wall, just kind of doing nothing. I felt like I really had wasted my time, and I came away from that feeling very discouraged and deflated. So I don't want you to feel the same way that I felt, very discouraged with networking. Because honestly, as an introvert, we've been told that we have to do things a certain way, but that's not true. As an introvert, there is a specific way that you can learn to network and that fits your personality. But I will also say that these next few tips, they are dealing with networking just in a general sense as well. So these tips can apply to anyone, whether you're extroverted, ambivert, or introvert. So without further ado, I want to give you these top 10 tips for business networking. So point number one, I want you to change your mindset on what you feel like networking is. A lot of us, we feel like networking is about going out and making a sale. But let me tell you that that is not what networking is about. At least it's not what it should be about. Start to think about networking less about going out and selling and more about building friendships. Realize that the chances of someone buying from you right after meeting you at a networking event is very slim. For one, they may not actually need what you're offering right at that moment. But even if they do, why would they buy from you if they don't know you that well? You haven't built any rapport with them, and you haven't built any trust. So that is really what the process of networking is about, is getting people to know, like, and trust you. And it's a long-term game. It's not this short-term game of trying to get the sale right away. So I think the reason that networking is intimidating to a lot of us introverts is because we feel like we can't be genuine. We feel like we have to go out and push a product, and that just feels disingenuous to us. Honestly, a lot of extroverts that I've spoken with have expressed the exact same thing, where even though they're good at networking, they don't like it because they feel like they have to be disingenuous. But if you can go out and genuinely listen to people, add value to them, that's actually going to work in your favor. So I want us to make this mind shift from selling to actually building friendships with people. And for us introverts, it really takes the pressure off to where we can feel like, if you want to buy what I have, great, but if not, I've still gained a friend in the process. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can move into some of the more specifics. For number two, I want you to focus on smaller networking events so that you're not going to get overwhelmed by too many people. Specifically, I want you to try attending one of these smaller roundtable sort of events. These are typically known as referral groups. BNI is one of the biggest ones. And so what typically happens in this group is everyone gets a chance to give their elevator pitch. So you'll go around the table, you'll stand up for about 30 seconds and give your elevator pitch. And it actually will give you the chance to speak rather than having to go up and to approach someone at a larger mixer or whatnot. You'll get to share what your business is about, and hopefully afterwards you can talk with other people who you're interested in learning more about their business. So along those same lines is you need to prepare an elevator pitch. What I recommend you doing is have a few different versions. One is like a one-liner version that you can literally, tell someone when you first meet them. You say, hey, my name is Luke and this is what I do. And it's just very clear. You also should have a 30-second elevator pitch and a 60-second elevator pitch. And this will be for the purpose of those smaller roundtable groups that I was just referring to. If you don't know how to create an elevator pitch, I've actually put together an elevator pitch template, so I'll include that in the description below. You can click on that blog post. So number 4, as you meet someone at a networking event, be sure and ask if they have a business card. This does a few different things. First of all, it helps you to remember their name. Second of all, you'll have their contact information because you need to follow up, and I'll get to that in just a moment. And thirdly, chances are they're going to ask in turn for your business card as well. So that way you'll have a chance to share what you do and they'll have a way to get in contact with you as well. So leading into point number 5, which is you need to always have your business card on hand. I've heard a few people recently say that they feel like business cards are becoming obsolete, with LinkedIn and different platforms out there. But I totally disagree with this because, when you're in an in-person interaction like that, how else is someone going to remember you among the hundreds of other people they may have met at the event? Your business card is a way that people can see your business name, build some brand recognition with your logo on there, learn your name, and have your contact information. Because let's say that they actually do need your service the next day, they actually have a way to reach you. Otherwise, how are they going to know? They probably will just throw away your card within the next day or the next few weeks, but that's not the point. It's not for them to keep it forever. It's so that they can have a follow-up contact with you. So if you don't have a business card yet, be sure and contact me. I can help you design one that is in line with your brand, and we can talk about that. So this next point, I believe, is one of the most important points of these 10 points, which is to set up one-on-ones. We who are introverted, we do get overwhelmed by the larger group, but we thrive in one-on-one situations with people. So as you're in a larger networking group or even like the smaller roundtable group, be sure and schedule an appointment with that person over coffee or over a beer where you can just dig deep into their business and try and build that relationship. Really, whether you're introverted or extroverted, it's impossible to make meaningful connections with people in the large setting. So it's very important to have this one-on-one interaction with them. What I challenge you to do is to not lead by telling them about yourself and your business. Instead, ask them the questions and just sit back and listen. Eventually, they'll probably ask you about yours as well. But really focus on adding value to them, whether it be referring business to them or to refer them to a connection that will be valuable to them. Just try and see how you can help them, and that will yield further results in the future for you. So how you set up these one-on-one meetings is by always doing a follow-up email. Once you get that business card, you make that interaction in a networking event, be sure and shoot them an email, maybe the same day or the next day at the latest. This does a few things. Remember that they've probably met a whole bunch of people in this networking group that they went to, and they may be attending other networking groups. They've met so many different people. The chances of them remembering you are pretty slim unless you continue this conversation with them. So shoot them an email, just say, it's so great to meet you. And this is also where you can set up a time to meet with them one-on-one. Even those that you barely got to speak with at the networking event, you can still shoot them an email, because if you have their business card, remember you have their contact information, and that's where you can go deeper with them even though you didn't talk with them much in the event. So that is the process that I just want you to continue doing by attending these smaller events, following up, and setting up one-on-ones. That will be super valuable for you and begin to build your confidence in networking. But you may start to learn that you are a little bit more confident in attending these larger networking events. What will probably happen is you'll start to see some of the same people over and over again. What I want you to do when you first walk into a larger networking group, just go straight to that person and connect with the person you've already met. It's super important that you continue to foster those relationships that you've already made. Remember, these people are going to be your advocates. They're going to start to refer business to you. And they may also buy from you in the future. So you want to continue those relationships. Also, by finding people you already know in a networking event, it automatically kind of lets your guard down. You feel like, okay, I don't know all these other people, but I can talk with this person. I've already spoken with them a little bit before. And even if they're already in a conversation, just go up and join the conversation, because that person may be able to introduce you to whoever else is a part of that little discussion. And that's how you start to build your networking and build your confidence in the process. So tip number 9 is I want you to set small bite-sized goals for yourself when it comes to networking. So let's say that you decide you want to push yourself a little bit and go to one of these larger networking groups. That's totally fine, but set realistic goals for yourself. Maybe you say you just want to speak with one person you've never met before. That's okay, because you want to achieve these smaller wins that will continue to boost your confidence. The way you do this is, there are people in the room who are going to be in the same position as you. They're there, they don't know what they're doing, they don't feel confident enough to approach someone they don't know. So try and find those people. They're usually kind of standing on the outside wall and not talking with anyone. So you can go up and approach them and just ask them who they are, what they do, and start from there. They're going to see you as the confident one because you actually took that step. Again, just do that to one person each time you go to one of these events, and you can build from there if you want to. Again, with this person, you want to go through that whole process, collect their business card, follow up with them, set up a one-on-one. Even if their industry is something that you feel like has no correlation with what you do, still try and set up that meeting with them, because you never know what's going to come of that. So get together with them and get to know their business, help them, add value to them, and you might be surprised at who comes back and sends business your way. So for my last point, I encourage you to know your limits. Remember that you're not an extrovert, so you're not going to approach networking the same way an extrovert approaches it. You're going to have some limits. You're not going to be able to attend every single networking event, because it's going to drain you eventually. And I've gotten to a place with networking where I've gotten burnout, and so I don't want that for you. Also, make sure you pay attention of even the time of day that you go to networking events. If you know that you hit that afternoon slump around 2 p.m., maybe don't schedule any networking events or one-on-ones during that time. Make sure that you're going to continue to enjoy networking, because that's going to be in the best interest of you and your business. All right, so that is my Introverts Guide to Business Networking. I hope you found these tips valuable. I want to do a quick shout out to 2 people who have kind of contributed towards some of these thoughts. One is Matt Hampton of 100 Connections Charleston. He is making his goal to meet with 100 people in 100 days and write their stories. Also, Laura Camacha of Mixonian Institute, she actually coaches introverts specifically in leadership positions. So be sure and check out her stuff and Matt's stuff right in the description below. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed these tips, be sure and give it a like. Also, comment below with any other tips you might have for introverts trying to network, or just anyone who wants to get out and network. And also, be sure and subscribe to our channel to get more tips for business, marketing, and design. So thank you again so much, and I'll catch you next time.